Hi, Daniel. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview with me. Why don't you take a few minutes and just introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Joyce. And your outreach is fantastic here. I looked around the website, and I'm glad to be part of it today.
Thank you.
Well, I am a United States Postal Inspector. We're one of many federal agencies that, for us, we investigate specifically crimes related to the mail or protection and safeguarding postal employees, postal assets, and that usually entails things that are sent through the mail that could be harmful or illegal, that are facilitating criminal enterprises, anything from bombs to illegal drugs, illegal guns, and also fraud. And that's what brings me to you today is when somebody sends something through the mail that could be either a deceptive scheme that they're trying to defraud somebody with, or maybe even an unknowing victim sending money through the mail. So we don't want the Postal Service to be in the business of facilitating these fraudulent schemes. And so
Right.
that's what I do right now. I'm part of a task force, specifically an elder fraud task force over at the FBI here in Tucson. And so we have a few other agencies as well with the FBI joining together to do this common cause of combating elder fraud and also going out and trying to do what we're doing today and spreading the word about it.
Yeah, that's great that you guys have the elder fraud, and you're working with the FBI and a bunch of other people. It's just gone crazy. The numbers are astronomical just here in Arizona as to what people reported that they lost in the 60 plus population. So you can probably multiply that by three or four, those numbers to get close to the actual amount. And it's crazy. So, and that's what R.O.S.E is all about, is bringing awareness and helpful tips and tools so these seniors can help protect themselves, because it's not a matter of if they're going to get contacted, it's a matter of when and how often. So there are a lot of scams out there. I know we talked about this a little bit before, and we could sit and talk for days about a bunch of different types of scams, but maybe let's talk about the ways that scammers try to get the victim to send them the money. I think that's evolved over time.
Right. I think it has. And I've been doing this job about 18 and a half, almost 19 years. And so I've seen everybody knows technology moves quickly. And so over that amount of time, technology has moved quickly. And the scammers, the criminals work right along with that. They ride that technology wave, and it also helps them to adapt to when law enforcement catches on to something or the victims start knowing about a certain way that the scammers are using to obtain money. They will adapt. And so they've done that. And so we need to adapt too. I remember first coming on, it was just as simple as mailing a check or mailing cash to the
Right.
scammer or somebody in the United States who could either be another victim or a unknowing participant in the scam.
Right.
Then it moved on to Western Union or one of these money transmitting businesses where the money could be sent at a local retail store or grocery store a gas station or something. And so that would be a way to get it immediately overseas. And then it shifted a little bit more to these gift cards that we all buy our relatives for Christmas
Right.
and birthdays.
Right.
And they even will maybe tell you a story of what to say to the clerk now because they're starting to ask and warn customers that it could be for a fraud. And so what they may do is buy a gift card to be able to uh, take a picture of that gift card and share it with the scammer without even knowing that that's a way of just releasing all of the funds of that gift card, that it can be used usually within minutes of doing that. And then now lately we have the newest technology, and that's this cryptocurrency or digital virtual currency. We all know the name, or many of us know the name Bitcoin,
Right.
but not everybody knows what this is all about. And it's just another way to move money. And in some cases, you can send money that's cash, hard money, green money, into a ATM machine at different places, locations like a smoke shop or convenience store. And as soon as you scan your phone with the code that they sent you and put in those $100 bills, that money is gone. It's overseas. It's in the hands of the criminals.
Wow.
and they often are using the money for no good things either. So
Right.
there's a lot of
Exactly.
trading in guns and drugs, and use your imagination.
Right.
So we don't want to be funding into that. We certainly don't want to be funding it with our own hard-earned money.
Right.
So if we know this at the front end, hopefully we can know how to hold on to our money and how not to give it to these
Right.
scammers.
Right. Yeah. So, it sounds like, early on, when all this technology started, the scammers kind of got into the technology, and every time, the companies or we as a public would do things to better protect ourselves, the scammers would catch on, and then they would figure out a way to exploit it. Like caller ID was a great thing when it first came out. Well, then scammers now figured out how to use that technology to their benefit, and now they're spoofing phone calls. So I
Right.
guess it was just a matter of time, before they started. And I didn't even know that there were these ATM of sorts machines out there that you could transfer your cash into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. But now, it's like you said, it's another avenue for them to take advantage of getting money very quickly from a potential victim.
That's right.
So what are some of the and well, I guess before I go into that, once you put your money into the machine, the scammer would have given sent you a QR code,
Yeah,
and
there's a
so
little, yeah, barcode type thing that they'll send you, just however they're communicating with you. It's just an image of a little barcode that once you have it on your phone, or you could print it out, you bring it to that machine, and there's a camera, kind of like what I'm looking at here, and on my computer, there's a camera
okay,
on that device that will take that code and know exactly where to send it. It's best thought of like a bank account number, and so it directs it to that bank account,
okay,
that cryptocurrency wallet. And once that money's in, it goes right to them and cannot be brought back.
got
It's
it.
into the international cyberspace, and
Wow.
it's in the pocket quite quickly. So
And if I don't know a lot about cryptocurrency, but if I understand it correctly, I've always heard and read about that scammers love it because it's anonymous.
yeah,
So, how do you guys then, if you're pulled in on a case and you're trying to follow the money, how does that? I mean, I don't want
yes,
you to give away your secrets, but
sure,
um,
sure. Well, the funny thing is, Joyce, it's actually, it is anonymous, so you don't always know who it's tied to, but it's not really a secret for anyone who knows about cryptocurrency or wants to know about it. Part of the beauty and the curse of cryptocurrency is that it is all available and to be viewed by all if you know where to look for it. So when there's a
okay,
transaction, it's not like in banking where it's all secret and protected by privacy laws. The whole point of cryptocurrency, to make sure that it has integrity and that it's reliable, is that it's this code that can be seen online, and it's called an open source transaction, so that you can follow the money
okay,
moving, and ultimately it will go to what's called an exchange, which is like a bank where the person can physically pull their money out into their bank account, and it's at that point usually where we can identify it. I think I
got
can
it.
say that without giving out too many secrets,
Yeah,
because we have experts that are able to do this tracing, and the people who really know this on the other end, the bad guys, they know that we can do that too. So they try to move quickly, just like they know we can
yeah.
intercept the express mail, overnight mail. It's fast, but we can get it if we know in time. Same thing
Okay.
applies with cryptocurrency. If we can be notified quick enough, we might be able to get some of it back. I'm in the process of doing that right now with a couple
Oh,
cases. So it
okay.
is possible, but we have to move real quick. And
Right.
all this talk of cryptocurrency may cause some people to say, "Oh, that I don't need to worry about that because I don't deal with cryptocurrency." Well, I've had it where not only the ATM where you're putting cash in, you are dealing with cryptocurrency. You now converted cash to cryptocurrency. But I've had it where we have these computer takeover cases where they actually get this remote software in your computer and take control. I've had someone set up a whole cryptocurrency account under this victim's name, using the
Wow.
photo they obtained through the computer. And he didn't even know it was set up until all of his life savings was dumped out into this
Oh,
cryptocurrency account.
wow.
So it will happen whether, if you are part of a scam, you may become involved in cryptocurrency, whether you like it or not. Unfortunately, that's
Yeah.
just where they're going.
Wow. Wow. So it's just awful that
Mhm.
that victim lost his life savings. That I hear that so much these days. So, what are some of the tips or tools, or that people can use to help protect themselves?
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job in your outreach, really taking some of the same tips that I offer as well. I think I like to put it when you're a lot of times the scammers will tell you stories to tell the person at the bank or the clerk at the drugstore when you're buying these gift cards. They will try to give you some story. They will also try to steer you away from anyone that could help by posing as law enforcement. You mentioned spoofs where you'll get a phone call from your own local area code number, and they're saying they're right around the corner. They want to help. They spoof me, they impersonate me, and they'll impersonate a government agent. So
Yep.
they think that they're the person they can trust. The big key is you're never going to see the person face to face. The best they can do is when family catches on is trying to help, and maybe they'll take away your phone, or maybe you've even changed your number. Next thing you know, a pizza delivery man's showing up at your door, and then are instructed to hand the phone over. They do that because they can't get to you in person. That's the
Okay.
closest they'll get to you. So if you're ever doing these transactions, whenever you're dealing with money, whenever you're going to part with your money, uh, think about who you're giving money to. No matter what they say to you or how they convince you that they're trustworthy and they're a good cause for you to give their money, whether they befriended you. I've had people over a year-long conversation with
Wow.
people online before they're first asked for money. If you've never met the person, don't give them the money. If you didn't initiate the business transaction, so if you didn't start talking to this bank or this insurance company that they're posing as, don't give them money. When it comes to law enforcement, we're in every single city in this country, even rural parts. We can get to you. We can get you in person. So part of the liability, Joyce, when I deal with these victims, what do you think they think when I call up saying, I'd like to speak to you about this fraud scheme? Well, the natural response is one of two things. Either they've already been very overly trusting and they'll just tell me everything I want to know, or
Okay.
they've been burned and they don't want to say anything to me. So I have the ability to, if I don't have an inspection service office there, there's probably an FBI office. If there's not an FBI office, there's a local county sheriff office that I can get somebody there.
Got
So
it.
you can always, when you're giving money or if you're looking to report a fraud that already occurred, get face to face with someone. The second one is the one that you, I think, preach also is to say, ask a friend. I put it in
Right.
the terms so they remember of that. There's a reason why there's a lifeline on that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, a phone a
Oh,
friend.
yeah.
Because another person has a different perspective. It may be a very
Exactly.
simple question, something that just happens to be that they can catch. So
Right.
maybe bounce it off of somebody. It helps to be able to get out of your emotional state,
Exactly.
right? Because that's the whole
Exactly.
point of these schemes is to try to hook you with either fear or overwhelming joy to be able to change that thought process.
Right.
And sadly, a lot of elderly people, not only do they have a life savings of money, but sometimes they incur losses. The older we get, the more people we lose. And so it could be a spouse, your judgment's off. And unfortunately, there are times where our cognitive functions aren't the way they used to be.
Right.
If all of those things applied to a 20-year-old, they would be the victim too, but they don't
Right.
have the money, they don't have the loss, and they don't typically have the cognitive function. So
Right.
that's why the elderly really need to be extra cognizant, I think, because you happen to be that perfect target. So
Right.
look for somebody in person. Try to,
Right.
if you're ever partying with money, do it. If you're getting your roof done, you're not going to be doing that all online. You're going to see a person there, give
Exactly.
you the estimate. You're going to be able to write them
Exactly.
a check. You
Right.
might have a bad deal, but it's not a fraud.
Right.
So, so do financial transactions and investigations if God forbid you're a victim with somebody face to face.
Right, right. Yeah. And that's, you mentioned the emotional aspect. We talk a lot about that with the people we present to. And and then we go into have that trusted person, and not the person that's asking for money that might have built a friendship or a trust with you, someone else, totally a third party. It could be a family member, a friend, You know, if you're living in a senior community or an assisted living, independent living, it could be somebody that works there, and talk to them and explain it to them, because sometimes when you hear yourself say it out loud, then you might go, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Or you're still in that
Yeah,
emotional state, so then the other person that you're talking to is in a rational state, and they can kind of they can walk you through everything. And then you come out of that emotional state, and then you'll realize, okay, yeah, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't pass the smell test. You know, it's too good to be true. You know, I really didn't win $1 million or inherit $1 million. You know,
that's right.
yeah,
And, and most of the time, when by the time I get there, they already realize it's a scam. Not always, but most of the time. And in many, many cases, they will tell me, I should have known. I felt that
yeah.
something was off. And so that is a tacit admission that they wanted to believe. They
Right.
wanted to
And
believe
so,
the scam.
right. So if your gut is telling you something is off,
Right.
go with your gut, you know, and don't, especially when it comes to your money and your personal information.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is one other tip that I just thought of as well, is that when we are given all these different, a variety of creative lies that come at us, they will inevitably use some legitimate name like Amazon or
Right.
so the federal government. And what you can do, or they may give a specific name of a person, you can do your own little cyber sleuthing and just type in independently of whatever phone number or email address they gave you, and just type it in to see if you can call Amazon and say, hey, is this legitimate? Well, they'll be able to tell you that they didn't initiate that. And so that
Right.
should stop you right there as well.
Right.
That's assuming you can get over this emotional hurdle. But if
Exactly.
you
Right.
do, I just a minute ago had a victim from yesterday. I just confirmed it a minute ago, who was given an attorney's name up in another state with an email address and a phone number. And the email address is different than what they actually have. I called them up and they said, no, we didn't initiate this order of an Apple Watch. I'm not waiting for that. And so if you can do your own checking as well, and it doesn't
Right.
take very long, the internet
Right,
these days.
right. And that's our a thing of verifying before trusting, you know.
Right.
Find the verified website for whatever you're looking for, and find the verified phone number for whatever you're looking for, and get on the website, call the place, you know, look at it and do your own investigation to verify, you know, what's going on. So,
That's right.
well,
That's right.
yep. Well, Daniel, this has been fantastic. I hope we can do some more talks like this in the future, because I think you have a lot of valuable information, not only for seniors, for anybody, because it's not just seniors that get scammed. It's everybody, you know, that it happens to. So I look forward to doing this again in the near future.
I
Thank
do
you.
too. Thanks a lot, Joyce. Thank
All
you.
right.